Hey everybody, this article is from Jim Stone, freelance journalist. I'm going to scroll down to the article. Just a minute. Right here. Glyphosate update. Since this report is apparently so important, I'm going to go into detail on a few things. Most readers have seen the original report by now because I had it top posted all weekend. And if you've not seen it, scroll down to the headline, Is Glyphosate Killing the Oceans? Is glyphosate killing the oceans? The probability cannot be denied. Something is definitely killing all the world's oceans. It cannot possibly be Fukushima, which will never affect the Great Barrier Reef, which is now dying, or the Atlantic. And it is not global warming, despite a hoax report produced by the New York Times this morning that claimed that. However, the New York Times, well, we already know it, they do pretend news. Link won't work because they want you to sign up for something rather than give you the report. At least confirms that the dying reefs are a widespread reality, while damaging the truth by saying global warming is causing it. I have decided to have a look at what is really killing the oceans, and I think I found the key indicator: phytoplankton die-off. To find the reason for the ocean reef die-offs, we need to look at what is killing the phytoplankton. Let's look at the life cycle of a reef to see why huge reduction in phytoplankton would be a good reason for a reef to die off. Corals, barnacles, sponges, all animal life in the entire ocean, even the whales, have plankton as the root source of all food that the entire ocean is based around. Look at the chart to the left. Okay, look at the chart to the left here. This is one producer in the ocean, plankton. All right, hang on, let me enlarge it. Plankton. That everything else ultimately uses as a food source. This is common 6th grade knowledge. Oh gosh. Let's see. I keep losing my place and I apologize. And zooplankton that many corals feed on use phytoplankton as a food source. Even starfish, which feed on clams, use phytoplankton as a food source via clams, which filter large amounts of ocean water through themselves to get the plankton out for food. Everything in the ocean, at the root of the food supply, starts out with phytoplankton as the key to get the entire chain moving. Phytoplankton levels in the ocean have recently dropped by more than 40%. That is a lot. That's significant. Look, what could cause that? Fact, it is not global warming, despite claims that it is. Clear proof, it is not global warming. It is in fact that phytoplankton exists from the equator to the Arctic, which represents an enormous temperature gradient, and phytoplankton is dying off at all temperature gradients. This proves global warming as a reason to be a hoax. Okay, to take steps toward the real answer then, we have to look at exactly what phytoplankton is. Phytoplankton is a photosynthetic plant that basically amounts to ocean algae. Its biological processes are the same as land-based plants. And what new material has been introduced that kills virtually all land-based plants? Answer: glyphosate. All man-made materials have what are called half-lives, which, at the completion of one half-life, still has half of it remaining. Question: how long is glyphosate's half-life in the wild? In most cases, up to 175 days. And that means that 350 days later, almost a full year, any glyphosate the farmer spray still has 25% of it left in the environment. How long does it take glyphosate to reach the ocean? That varies, but in best case scenario, taking the longest time possible, glyphosate sprayed in Minnesota, where the Mississippi River starts, at a total river average speed of 2.25 miles per hour, will be to the ocean after running off into the Mississippi in 1,050 hours, 43.5 days. If the glyphosate is sprayed at Lake Itasca, that's the longest time it will take. And that means it will hit the ocean with well over 80% of its killing capacity in a minimum lethality scenario. Monsanto claims that half-lives in fresh water are as little as 90 days. However, studies have shown that even in fresh water, it can be found over a year after it's applied. Again, Monsanto. Never a straight answer. Always liars. So, question. The ocean is salty, very alkaline. What happens to glyphosate in that scenario? Answer: it does not go away. You can tell just from this abstract Okay, I don't see an abstract. That glyphosate, when it hits the ocean, is going to suddenly acquire a much longer half-life. Though this group talks about what happens to glyphosate in slightly alkaline pond water, it takes absolutely no leap of logic to figure out what will happen to glyphosate when it hits the ocean. Glyphosate is a salt, and when it is put in the presence of strong salts, it is only rational to conclude the strong salts will act as a permanent preservers when it is proven that even a very low presence of salts can dramatically boost its environmental persistence. Oh, but the oceans are big. They can soak it up, right? Answer: I would not bet on that, because when glyphosate, which is a salt, gets in the presence of other salts, its potency is greatly boosted. Okay. This could be interesting reading. So I will post this. Effects of surfactants on the toxicity of glyphosate. Okay. Anyway, so when it's in the presence of other salts, its potency is greatly boosted. Conclusion: all the starfish die-offs, all the reef die-offs have their roots in phytoplankton die-offs, which is extremely likely to be triggered by use of glyphosate in agriculture. Once glyphosate hits the ocean, you can say adios to half-lives. it instead, most likely, becomes virtually permanent. And on top of that, its ability to kill is greatly boosted. Its ability to kill is greatly boosted. We're talking about glyphosate still. It will keep building up in concentration year after year due to the fact that the salt water will preserve it. When the timing of these massive phytoplankton die-offs, which trigger broader die-offs, is considered, a potential link to glyphosate becomes obvious. And there you have it. Okay, we do know food. Oh, let me go back down. Okay, we do know, Fukushima does play a role in the die-offs, but it's not the reason why the die-offs are around the coral reefs and the Atlantic Ocean and everywhere else. So please don't think Fukushima is the only reason for the ocean die-offs. That's a very minimal part of it all. The culprit will always remain glyphosate, killing the oceans. Anyway, that's all for now, and thank you for watching. Have a perfectly wonderful day. Thank you.